So by 1981, NBC was not the NBC they were even 10 or 15 years before. Most of their major programs were either cancelled or not getting good ratings. But when this show came on, the word of mouth was so strong, even though the ratings weren't there, it became the most important TV series of the 1980s, and all the crime and police procedurals that followed ripped off this to such an extent that if MTM wanted to sue most of the major shows, they would have got major money. Now, Hill Street Blues for me is the best series, pretty well from maybe some of the comedy shows were better statistically or better script-wise, but Hill Street Blues was literally 50 stories in one episode. So much was packed in these episodes, that we still talk about it later. Now it's being shown and streaming on Disney Plus in Canada this month. I don't think it was recently added, but it's one of the key series on Disney. And ironically, ladies and gentlemen, it was being shown on Canadian TV earlier than it was being shown in the States. I know for a fact that CSSJ, which is a CBC affiliate, in early 1981 picked up the series, and boys oh boys, that was the talk of every place of work and every high school, very big with high school kids. Now, this American serial police procedural was mostly prime time, even though there was a couple of double episode movies, from January 15, 81 to May 12, 87, for 146 big episodes. The show chronicles the lives of the Metro Police Department staff of a single police station located on Hill Street in an unnamed large U.S. city. I would surmise this would probably be Michigan or Massachusetts, or even maybe another one of the New England states is that good. The Blues are the police officers in their blue uniforms. Now, the show received critical acclaim, and its production innovations influenced many subsequent dramatic TV series produced in the States and Canada. Has been widely regarded as one of the greatest TV shows of all time. In 81, the series won 8 Emmys, a debut season record surpassed only by The West Wing. Now, the show won a total of 26 Emmy Awards out of 98 Emmy Award nominations during its run, including 4 consecutive wins for Outstanding Drama Series. Now, MTM developed the series on behalf of NBC. Again, this wasn't directly from NBC, appointing Stephen Bochco and Michael Kozal as series writers. The writers were allowed the freedom to create a series that brought together a number of fresh ideas in TV drama. Each episode features intertwined storylines, some of which resolve within the episode, while others developing throughout the season. In a typical episode, you had 8 or 12 different plots going on, both major and minor. The conflicts between the work lives and private lives of the characters was also significant. Now, this was a soap opera, this was a cop procedural, this was a legal procedural, this was a feminist show, because most of the female characters on the show were strong, especially Frillo's ex-wife, who basically had what he called her gripe of the week. Now, the series featured a strong focus on the workplace struggle between what is right and what works. Television author John Javna described it as a cop show for the big chill generation, discovering that it takes all the energy to keeping a few of their ideals alive while they struggle to succeed. Now, the big plot, of course, here surrounds around the pizza man, Captain Frank Frillo, Daniel Travante, and his ongoing romantic and sexual relationship with public defender Joyce Davenport, played by the luminous Veronica Hamill. They had real, chemistry. And one of the bathtub scenes of an early episode was mimicked on Bull Durham, and that was the big thing back then. A lot of people took their shared baths as almost like a romantic tribute to the show. Now, each episode began with a pre-credit sequence or a teaser consistent of a mission briefing and roll call to start the day shift. From Sergeant Tree on, a previously on montage of clips of up to 6 episodes preceded a roll call. Author Stephen Johnson wrote the importance to viewers of each episode's roll calls, saying that to perform a crucial function in introducing some of the primary threads and providing helpful contextual explanations for them. And of course, this was backed, once the roll call happened, by the great theme music of the show, which was a pop hit at the time. Again, almost all episodes took place over the course of a single day, with Ferrello and Davenport kind of, cuddling and talking about the day. Now, the series dealt with numerous real-life issues and employed professional jargon and slang to a greater extent that had not been seen on television before. Of course, the great Michael Conrad did the roll call. Let's be careful out there. Now, the cast of the primary cast of the first 4 or 5 seasons were probably one of the best ensembles of all time. Of course, you got Daniel Trey Travante, who played Frank Frillo. Phil Esterhaus, played by Michael Conrad, who passed away in '84. Bobby Hill, Michael Warren, who was basically the partner of Andy Rinko, Charles Hayde. So it's a ebony and ivory setup, including another series of partners we'll get into in a second. Belker, Bruce Whites, who basically played a dog in human form, tremendous. The SWAT favorite, who was politically incorrect James B. Sicken, who recently passed away recently. The very underrated Joe Spano, who became kind of a more romantic character, or like a junior version of Frillo as the time went on. He was the number 2. Barbara Bosson, who was always a great actress, played Frillo's very, very hyper wife. The great Taurine Black and Keel Martin playing Washington and LaRue were the other black and white couple. Different spin to it, more gritty. The very underrated Renny Enriquez played Ray Cayetano, basically to represent the Latino aspect of the show. Future director Betty Thomas gave a tremendous performance as a different type of feminist cop. Veronica Hamill playing Joyce Davenport, of course, former football player Ed Marinaro, played the romantic and partner, spiritual partner of Betty Thomas's character. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The backup characters, and especially the various plots of the early episode, featured the president supposed to be visiting the inner city and the ongoing negotiations between the gangs, made a big star of Trinidad Silva, who was probably one of the most underrated character actors of his time. He'd have a kind of a return visit every once in a while to be what I call a foil for Frillo. Now, the show wasn't perfect. There was certain plots that made no sense, certain plots that were kind of limited for what you could do. The farther they go is PG-13. There was almost partial nudity with some of the scenes between, Davenport and Frillo. But Silva to me was one of the most important characters on the show. He played guest star in 28 episodes. He was sort of the link with the inner city and the gang and the people that were trying to get out, but were still trying to be manipulative. Now, the whole series, again, the first four seasons were the best. Now, everything shut down in my part of Canada when Hill Street Blues came on, and everybody talked about the show the next day. If you haven't seen the series, please do so, Disney Plus. But like I said, it's every episode, you're looking 43 to 47 minutes. And maybe 90% of the episode will make sense on first viewing. But sometimes you have to rewatch it. Now, a lot of the episodes were not repeated in first run. So to see it in syndication, it'd be better to sit down, take an afternoon, and read about the synopsises and try to figure out, it's like a path. Where is this going to lead? It's like there's no resolution. This is not, a bottle episode where everything is good at the end of the episode. Because as humans, we're all flawed. Why wouldn't cops and investigators and leaders of the Hill Street not be flawed? That's how it works together. So, ladies and gentlemen, Hill Street Blues, again, one of the few 5-star TV series of all time. The reason why we like in Canada so much, we're a cerebral country. This is a cerebral show. You can't be a bullshit artist and an IQ of 85 to understand the show. There's a lot of shit going on. Because there was a very famous feminist in Canada that said Hill Street Blues was the only feminist show on TV in that period, pure feminist show, and basically was led by a bunch of men. But the women in the show are not talked down to. They are women, but they're there with a purpose. Frillo's ex-wife and Veronica Hamill's character, Davenport, You know why he fell in love with Farillo? Because Farillo respects women, even though he doesn't have enough time to, first of all, save his first marriage, and he almost lost Davenport several times through the years. So again, 5-star out of 5. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our vintage TV tributes, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. We're nearing 3,000 subs on the channel. By the end of hopefully August, we'll have 3,000. Doesn't sound like much, but that mimics the circulation of my first newspaper in Northern Brunswick I worked for, the Dalhousie News out of Dalhousie, New Brunswick. So if you can get to 3,000, I'll buy you a poutine. Have a good one, and keep your stick in the ice. Hey, let's be careful out there.